The DC animated universe, aka the DCAU, is something I've been getting into lately. If you want to know how I ranked all the DCAU movies I've seen so far, you can check out my Letterboxd by clicking the link down below, and all that. And honestly, the DCAU is pretty solid. It has good animation, a lot of interesting and well-executed stories, but we're not here to talk about the good stories. We're not here to talk about Under the Red Hood. We're here to talk about Injustice. No, not that Injustice. This one. Let's not waste any time and get right into this because there's a lot of things I want to talk about. Alright, now before we talk about the bad stuff, let's talk about the little bit of good that this movie had. First of all, the voice acting. Nothing much to say, it's just good. Not every character sounds fantastic, but like every other DCAU film, is good. The art style, though it's not great, it's also not bad. Some characters do look a little weird though. Also, the Knuckles just look super odd. I don't know, I think that's just me though. The character design, it is so much better than the video games. It is so much better than the video games. The character models look so wanty to me, especially the costumes. And finally, they animated Superman's finishing move from the game, which is pretty cool. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I genuinely can't think of any more good things that this movie had. If you think I missed anything though, please put it in the comments. Also, I'd like to mention that I only played part of Injustice 2 and haven't read the comics, so the only Injustice thing I fully consumed was this movie. But now, the bad stuff, and oh boy, is there a lot of it. Now, though Injustice isn't the worst DCAU movie, because that goes to Batman and Harley Quinn,
It's not so bad.
it's not good. At all. I can't remember there being a part where I was hyped or anything. But let's talk about why. I have a list of a bunch of things that either didn't make sense, were stupid, or that I just didn't like. Starting with the pacing. To me, this movie, I feel like it was all over the place. It somehow felt incredibly fast while also feeling like I spent my whole life watching it. That's probably because they tried to fit an entire story that is multiple hours long into a not even 2-hour movie. But what do I mean by that? We'll talk about some of the things that happened within the first 10 minutes of this film. So it starts off basically the same as the video game and the comic, which isn't a bad thing, but I thought I'd mention it. Superman finds out that Lois Lane is pregnant, which makes him happy. He then finds out that Batman is in Metropolis because the Joker is also there for some reason. Eventually, Lois and Jimmy Olsen find where the Joker is hiding or something like that, when it turns out he's actually right behind them. He shoots Jimmy in the face, which honestly that was pretty shocking, and says this iconic line, which was a nice reference. After that, Superman panics because Lois just got kidnapped, while she's pregnant. So Batman calls the entire Justice League and says, "Yo, find Lois, this is an emergency." We cut to the Flash, who's running of course, and from what I remember, he finds this room under the subway and he was led to believe that the Joker was in there, I think. And here comes the first major issue. The Flash, the fastest man alive, who has survived some of the most ridiculously crazy things in film and comics, dies from fear gas. He starts to hallucinate, and then a buzzsaw thing, I don't even know, it's like a circular saw gets fired at him and decapitates him. It's like they just felt like disrespecting the Flash. Anyways, after that, the lead finds out about his death, and that's it. They're like, what? Oh no, the Flash is dead, and then it's never mentioned again. That's it? Seriously? After that, somehow in about 3 minutes, the Joker steals an entire submarine while at the same time placing a device on Lois's heart which will trigger this bomb that will destroy all of Metropolis if her heart stops. So Superman finds the submarine and says, "Yo, give me Lois Lane." He opens the submarine, he sees fear gas literally leaking from the inside. So what does Superman do? He willingly walks into fear gas, because why not? He finds the Joker and Harley Quinn, but also, Doomsday is there somehow. So he starts fighting him, of course, and flies Doomsday into space to try and kill him, when turns out, it was not Doomsday, it was actually Lois Lane all along, because Superman idiotically and willingly walked into fear gas. So now that Lois is in space, she's dead and her heart stops, and Metropolis basically gets nuked. This is just under the first 10 minutes. Susserman, I accidentally wrote Susserman instead of Superman in my notes. Superman gets mad and wants to kill the Joker. Green Lantern, as usual in DC animated movies, gets disrespected. Superman breaks in, kills Joker, blah blah blah. Superman gets 5 o'clock shadow. Justice League kind of disbands, and that's when Superman fully turns evil, and all that. Damian Wayne, as usual, is garbage. I don't know about you guys, but I hate him so much. I don't know if he's good in the comics, but in every animated movie I've seen, he is such an annoying nuisance. So he thinks that Superman is doing good by inflicting fear into everyone and killing these villains. Batman obviously disagrees, which starts an argument. And then, unsurprisingly, Damian Wayne betrays Batman and sides with Superman. So they continue fighting, and here's where I had to stop the movie for a bit because of how dumb it was. Damian Wayne decides to throw one of those little sticks he uses to fight. He throws it at Nightwing, and it somehow perfectly hits Nightwing in the temple, killing him.
He always blocks it. Always!
Well, obviously he doesn't. Why would you even do that? Like, it's like, did you try to kill Nightwing? You purposely threw it at his head because you thought he would catch it since he always does? Like, it's just so stupid. So now Damian just killed one of the best characters. So Nightwing goes to the afterlife, right? And when he realizes he's dead, was murdered, even if it was accidentally, he looks at himself and says, "Bummer." Your brother just accidentally killed you and all you can say is bummer? What is this, the newest MCU film? What's even goofier is, now, I don't know if this is in the games and the comics, but like a minute later, Nightwing meets Ramakrishna and she gives him superpowers that turn him into a ghost, now making him Deadwing, or Deathwing, I forgot which one it was, but either way, it's absolutely hilarious. Batman needs something from Superman's Fortress of Solitude, but Superman gets there too, and a fight starts. Superman's dad is also there for some reasons I don't remember, and Green Arrow is also there with Batman. So Green Arrow goes to fire an arrow at Superman, but when he shoots it, somehow the arrow perfectly bounces off of Superman and ricochets back and hits Superman's dad in the chest. Come on. Really? God, this movie is so stupid. And I don't even want to talk about the whole thing with Ra's al Ghul and his robot thing. I forgot what the robot's called. But to make things even worse, Superman, who basically controls like the entire country or something because he's evil now, he goes and sees that people are partying. And so he goes into the party and sees that everyone is wearing Joker masks. Now, they're not committing crimes, not doing anything bad, they're just wearing face paints and mask. So what does Superman do? He pulls a Homelander and murders every single civilian in the building. What? Why? They didn't do anything to you. All they did was wear face paint to look like something you don't like. So you murder civilians in cold blood?
Hello, Little Caesars.
Little Caesars.
5 orders of normal bread, please.
I get this is angry Superman, but come on, this is just stupid. And finally, because I hate this movie so much, so the game is all about other worlds or multiverses or something, right? But in the movie, it's only mentioned once by this guy, I always forget his name, but it's only mentioned in like one scene, and then they never mention it until the finale. And the thing that stops Superman is a device that apparently can bring you to other Earths. So they bring another Superman to help, but they both start fighting. Cool fight, I guess, but then, oh god. The alternate Lois Lane from that universe comes out of the portal. The one thing that stops Superman from being evil is seeing an alternate version of his dead wife, who is a few months more pregnant than she was. You're telling me that's what convinces Superman to be a good guy again? An alternate version of his dead wife saying, "Hey, look, I'm alive and I'm pregnant." She didn't actually say that, but you know what I'm saying. This entire film was so underwhelming and almost incredibly predictable at some points. This was honestly just boring. I did not have a fun time watching this. The only thing I really liked was the final fight between both Supermans, but even that can't save this film. This movie is at least a 3, maybe a 4 out of 10 if I'm feeling nice today. But yeah, Plastic Man is the best character. I don't have anything else to say. I hope you all enjoyed, and if you want to see more comic book, movie, anime, manga related videos, please hit that like, sub, all that, because we're about to hit 300 subs. That's it for me though, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.